Hey everyone, welcome to the Davis 4th of July criterium. This was a figure eight crit in downtown Davis, California on 4th of July last Thursday. This is out in NorCal. It was 110 degrees Fahrenheit outside today, super hot. There was not a huge field. I think some people were scared of the heat. Had about 30 guys, but still had a ton of fun racing. Uh, Picking it up maybe 30 minutes into the race here, and there's been a whole bunch of attempts to make breakaways stick, but nothing's worked out so far. Group's still together. The biggest team is Valet, who I think one of their guys just attacked it. They're in like green and purple tops. So it didn't want to let anything get away with them. They got the strongest individual rider too in Ryan Gorman, and definitely didn't want to let anything get away with him. So my goal was to cover moves that had him in it, and then also moves that had the other big team, Tarun, in the pink jerseys represented, who you'll see. And it was just me for my team, Altavelo, so I had to be a little bit selective. But you see this move going here, and Ryan is up the road now and has a little gap. And the alarm bells are going off in my head, so I was like, we got to get up to this. I'd only made like maybe two big attacks so far, and so this is my third one after like 30 minutes of racing, so not too bad. And I decide I have to bridge, like this is the race. And so I am going to go across to this group. There's some guys like behind me, but they're not quite on my wheel, so there's a few of us that are kind of all just coming across as individuals, and it takes like a little over a lap here, but up to the front now, and I'm gonna just come through and start pulling. I was coming up to them with momentum, and they pulled off, and I wanted to like show that I wanted to make this move stick, so I took a pull, and then they're gonna come back around me, and you'll see there's more than just the four of us. We're up to like 5 or 6 now, and there would be another group of 3, I think, that bridged all the way across, and so we ended up having a group of 10, and that was the breakaway of the day. Nobody really worked that well together, but we did keep attacking the group enough to keep the pace high. Also talking to the guys who were back in the field. Once we went, all the teams were represented, and then the strongest individuals had bridged across. There was not really anyone left in the field to chase. So they started soft pedaling. I think looking at guys' Stravas, they were going like 20 miles an hour in some sections, which, we were too here. This is around 5 laps to go. We were starting to play games. The announcers were saying for a little while there, with like maybe 10 minutes of racing left, that we might lap the field, but we started playing games with each other, and it killed the pace. So here's an attack you see. It's got a couple guys going. I think everyone, once there was an attack, was kind of waiting for like someone stronger than them to cover it, because everyone thought that there was somebody else to cover it. And I mean, yeah, everyone could look to Ryan in this group to cover things, and that was what we kept doing. And so it got a little gap here in front of me, but I think this is all going to come back together pretty quickly. There was like one of the attacks where I definitely thought I was going to get dropped, and I got edged off the back a little bit, and I had to dig pretty deep to stick on. It was like a few laps earlier, but we're all still here. We are just soft pedaling at this point, barely rolling around. Yeah, all the way across the road here. I think this is on 5 to go, or it might be 4 to go. It's towards the end. No one wants to like make a move and commit. We also have a big enough gap that the field's not coming back, so we can play these games. There's another attack. Ryan's got to cover it. Every attack that Ryan has to cover is good news for us, because I don't think anyone in this group likes their chances against Ryan in a group finish. Like, he can win a field sprint, so out of this little breakaway, it should be pretty easy for him. And so after that move comes back, I'm going to be coming through with a little bit of momentum, and I decided to just stick it. And so I kept the gas pedal to the floor through here and got myself a little gap. And I was hoping someone would come with me, because 3 laps felt like a little bit of a long ways to go, especially in 110 degree heat. But nobody did. So here I am by myself. This is 3 to go. I looked back again. They gave me a little leash. Everyone was looking at each other still. So I put my head down and decided I was going to try and stick it to the finish. And I remember this hurting so bad, and then you look back at the average power after, and it was like threshold power. But for a VO2 type, 5 or 6 minute effort, it was just so hot out that I was having a hard time making all the normal power. So here's one first lap by myself. It's fun being off the front by myself towards the end of a race like this. I feel like it's been a little while since I've actually been in a position where I thought I could maybe win a race. And I'm gonna come up and see 2 to go here. I still felt pretty good at this point. It was when we hit 1 to go, the wheels started to fall off the wagon. But I looked back, I could see Ryan, and Ryan's gonna come up to me right here. And I was like, in my head, I thought, oh, I'll just grab his wheel and I can follow him to the finish. And he goes by so much further inside than I was expecting that he's already got a gap, and I can't do anything about it. Even if he hadn't taken a much different line than me through that corner, I could not have held his wheel. He was just flying at the end of this race. He took the KOM on the course, I think on each of the last 2 laps, just riding by himself instead of in a group though. But after he passed, the group was still pretty far behind, so I was still thinking could still be on for a second place here, which would be a really solid result. So I'm going to keep my head down. I was just trying to get as aero as I could through here because the power was starting to fade. Look back, and I think there's another guy coming here. Yeah, this is Victor. He comes past me with a lot of speed. He's on it. That's a little bit too late to go and catch Ryan. Giving Ryan a lap head start is just too much. But they're chasing after second. I'm still alone in front of the field here. This is Trevor who's going to come by for third, and the group is still behind, but they're closing in, and the writing seems like it's on the wall at this point because I'm moving backwards. I'm not moving forwards anymore. So I knew it was pretty much done at this point. You'll see they come through with 3 corners to go, which is so close to the end. I thought I had it for not probably the win because Ryan was going to take that the whole time, but I thought I was going to be able to maybe hold on for a second for a couple laps there, but the last lap was a bit too much for me. Yeah, there's the group, and I've got nothing left at this point, so I just let the group go. End up last from the break, which is good enough for 10th on the day, which I mean is not a bad result, but definitely could have been probably better if I just sat in and taken my chances in a field sprint. I think I probably would have had a top 5, but pretty exciting to be near the front and have a chance to be right at the front of the race. It was fun rolling through downtown off the front by myself. So thanks for watching, everyone. Stay tuned. We had a whole bunch of races this weekend in NorCal.